Marcus brings the heat, no filter in sight. Jason's got the insights, always gets it right. Sean's the wild card with a laugh in the night. On FolkLOOR, they banter about the latest fight. FolkLOOR podcast, stories non-stop. Entertainment, gossip, and tech's new crop. Loud opinions, like a punk rock bob. Marcus, Jason, Sean, they never drop.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the FolkLOOR podcast. I'm Marcus Pittman. I'm with Jason Folding Chair, Tara Farley. Did you watch WrestleMania recently? Is that where you came up with that? Or?
That's just how I grew up. I grew up on the WWF.
Okay, yeah. And Sean Tomlin, how's it going?
That's good. It's good. I actually grew down on the WWF.
You grew down.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, but I just wanted to use it and get a reaction.
I think it means you matured, whereas Jason didn't.
That sounds about right.
So, well, man, a lot of stuff. Real quick, a lot of stuff happening at Lore. The one thing I want to mention is very soon. We haven't got a release date yet, but it is finished and I've seen it. A lot of you have been asking, where is the Psalter, right? They were going to be short films, and then the first one gets funded, second one gets funded, and we're still waiting on the second one to premiere. Well, the reason it took so long, I can happily say, is because Cody Halford went and made a 37-minute masterpiece of. Do you even call it a short film, or is it episode? It's an episode.
It's an episode. Yeah.
Black Mirror level, amazing cinematography. I don't even want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it. It's like I'm trying to think of what I can. It's just a very gorgeous episode. Inspired from Psalm 6. Is that the
Psalm
one?
6? Yep.
Psalm 6 and temptation and sin and stuff like that. Unbelievable, honestly. And so that is going to be released really soon. We want to release it right and build up hype.
We actually just met with Cody, so we do have a release date. I just haven't had time to tell you what it is.
Oh, you haven't told me what it is because you'll go
yeah.
with Cody before the podcast, right?
Yeah. So Friday.
It is.
This Friday.
Yeah. I like that we can combo our meetings into the podcast. That's cool.
It's actually premiering this Friday.
Premiering this Friday. Yep. So we just needed to get it all lined up.
May 9th.
Yeah, Sean, we combo our meetings into the podcast because that's efficient.
It is really efficient. We save so much time and we gain audience.
So this Friday, that's a lot sooner than I was thinking it's going to be, but I'm really glad. So this Friday, the Psalter is premiering on Lore TV. If you're a subscriber, you get to watch it. So make sure you subscribe today, and that way you can go ahead and watch the Psalter, which is tremendous. And I will say, I think we just funded yesterday. Was it yesterday? The third episode of the Psalter, right? So
which will be chapter 2.
Yes,
but a different psalm, right?
Different psalm,
is that right?
Yeah. So yep, and he's already finished filming it, so it's in post-production. So that's one of the most amazing things is he was able to take the funding for episode 1 and get multiple episodes filmed so that the release date, so that they would release closer together.
First off, that's insane. We got to get Cody on the podcast to talk about this because one, that is absolutely insane. Because the first episode he raised money for a short. So the first episode, let me know if I'm wrong, but like it was originally intended he was going to take what he raised, make a short, make the episode, but then he went and said, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to take the money. I'm going to make a 37-minute heater. It's just a tremendous masterpiece work of art. And then I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to film for additional episodes so that when the other episodes come, I can just put the money just towards post. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's
really
unheard
unbelievable.
of.
Yeah. Really talented.
One of the most amazing things is when he when the prologue funded, he started talking to his audience and said, "What did you like? What could we do better?" And he got into this conversation with his audience that was backing him, and was so inspired by the conversation. He said, "I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to deliver something that is what we've talked about, and go above and beyond." And so it's because of his interactions with the audience that we got something, and his openness to the conversation, that we got something so much better. So it's amazing working with people that just want to serve and love their audience. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think I started watching it. I was like, I'm gonna watch, the first 5-10 minutes of it, just to see how it turned out. And I didn't stop. It was amazing. And so congratulations to Cody for that. You guys will all get to see it Friday. Is there a trailer for it? I know we're blending meetings.
We're working on it.
There'll be something. There'll be something before Friday.
We're gonna try to make it during this podcast just to be efficient too. We're gonna make
we should just put out like the first 3 minutes on social media or something like that.
We've got a plan.
Okay. All right. Well,
we got a plan.
We won't be efficient with that meeting discussion. We'll have another meeting.
I did the same thing you did, Marcus. Is I'm like, well, I'll just watch the first 10 minutes and then I'll probably dive into it later tonight because it's daytime. I don't have, you kind of do your watching it in the evening. Yeah. And I got totally sucked in. I was like, I watched it right to the end. So that's a great sign when you can't let it go.
100%. I think it just in terms of like length of production and quality of length of production, it's right up there with the Gothics film and stuff. So I was telling Jason as soon as I saw it, we got to enter it into festivals. It's incredible. So
it's really good.
Yeah. Okay. So that is happening. So be sure to subscribe to lore.tv. And now for the subject of today's episode. Trump is recommending. Now my show notes says stupid foreign production tariff story. I don't know who wrote the show notes, but I can guess.
Well, it's kind of reading it out of context. It's
okay. So, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. So he is recommending 100% tariff on a tariff on foreign films. And when I heard that, I thought that was really weird and strange because films they're not really imported. They're sent via email. Right? So I mean, it's not like we're loading up film canisters
bunch of
on
35 millimeter.
It's, and bringing them over from China. So I thought, well, the only thing that really matters then at that point was there's maybe DVDs. Is he talking about DVDs? Is he talking about VHS tapes from China? And
I think he was talking about laser discs. Laser discs coming back. That they're
laser discs are coming back.
The same way that kids are really getting into vinyl. I heard there's a whole movement emerging with laser discs.
Yeah, and beta tapes too. But no, because that was like my first thought. Because when I was a kid, you would go to the flea market, and the Chinese DVDs weren't even legitimate movies anyway. So they were all the bootlegs. Until you learned how to do it yourself, you would go to the flea market, and that's where you got your bootleg movies and stuff.
I don't hear that. I didn't hear that.
Oh, come on! Everybody knows.
Piracy is not a victimless crime, Marcus.
But dressing as a pirate,
we're not supposed to talk about it. But I mean that brings up. but that's further to the point. Like, if you have 100% tariff on anime, anime is already like that is already bootlegged the heck. You know, and everybody knows this. We posted this on the Lore Twitter account that the tariffs are going to destroy anime, and people are like, people who watch anime don't pay for anime. So everybody knows it. You can act like you never heard of it before, but if you put 100% tariff on it, it's I look.
No, it's
You guys all use Napster. You guys are acting like because we own a streaming platform, we haven't heard of Napster. Like that's crazy. Yeah, come on.
Imagine if Speed Racer had been
tariffed. Because I have knowledge of this.
Imagine if we deprived the world of Speed Racer had there been tariffs.
Yeah. Or Voltron. We never had Voltron.
Voltron. Imagine had Voltron never lived
a world without Voltron. It's not a world I want to live in.
It's a tragedy I don't want to play any part of. Well, here
Sean, go for it.
Well, I just was going to say when I said stupid story, I want to clarify, and I just outed myself. I'm the one that wrote that show note. When I said it, this is where it was coming from. I was at the gym, and there's always someone at the gym that has to I put the music channels on because I just want to hear music, but there's always some knucklehead that wants to watch NBC Nightly News, and it's like, oh man, I came to the gym to just escape and work out, and now I've got to hear, at level 47 out of 50 on the volume. Their story was so stupid because they're telling the tariff story about the Hollywood productions or the foreign productions, and they're just completely missing the point. They're the errors and omissions in that story is criminal. They're not telling the full scope of the story, and that's where I got it's a stupid, the way the media is portraying it. It's a stupid story, but I'd like us to make it a smart story if you guys are up for it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So here would be my first question in terms of like how to make it a smart story is who do you pay and what are you paying them for? Because it sounds like basically this is an intellectual property play or a licensing play. So there's the only way it would work is if there's 100% tariff on licensing. Because the theaters are getting pretty much a digital copy now. Streaming platforms are getting a digital copy. Everything's a digital copy. So now, for me, this opens up a can of worms of, well, we're going to tax digital transfer or digital.
Hey, well, have the details of what he's even talking about been released yet? That's my question.
No,
details.
He said it.
Details.
Wait, can I veer off the road just for a second on this?
Because
Marcus, you just inspired me here. Your question is great because it's like, what in the world are you going to tariff? It's a license. But I think all roads point back to the thing we've talked about on several episodes. And that is the three advisors. I don't want to be too harsh, but I wouldn't say that the three people in the room advising Donnie Pants on this are really like the guys I would go to for, really current kind of meaningful consultation on this subject. And
well, they've got over 200 years between them.
It's three.
I think it's 300. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's closer to 300. It's at least 240.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, these are the guys that probably are still buying laser discs. So I think, this is where I use the three words, consider the source.
Yeah.
Those wouldn't be my go-tos for advanced thinking about how we can rework and improve the Hollywood system and the whole deal. But anyways, I kind of veered off.
I think that's a great point. I've said that a lot. Like it's John Voight, Sylvester Stallone, and Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is the youngest at 69. The others are 70 and 82 or something like that.
Yeah.
Voight is the oldest of them. And it is just like the Republican Party to hire for council people at least over 70 years old and on average. And so
they sound like the advisory committee for like a Dell Web Retirement Community Entertainment Board. It's just like, no, guys, seriously.
Yeah.
AARP movies, AARP Productions.
This
I feel
movie's
like
been rated
Mark
AARP.
Burnett would have been a much better choice for advisor. I think he's at least of a younger generation, and you know,
Yeah. That's a good
so.
call. That's a good
But
call, actually.
I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, if you're looking like people within the Trump circle that are familiar with the way the world works, I think Burnett would have been the top pick, and he might be behind the scenes. He hasn't publicly come out as a Trump supporter publicly, but
he's a good friend, and he'd be more like you. That you nailed it. He'd be more likely to be in tune with what.
well, they better
currently
be
is
friends. Trump made them lots of money.
Well, that's never stopped anyone from hating someone, but yeah, you're right.
I've only been able to come up with 2 versions of this story that actually make sense. Because when I look at the facts, I go, okay, how can I? What is the way to tell this story that actually makes sense? There's two things that I've thought. Well, maybe this is what it is. One is he's got this thing going with Canada, and he said, where are the largest dollars crossing the border that direction?
Vancouver.
Right. Yeah, Vancouver and Calgary for filmmaking. That's the largest. And so he said, well, can we turn that spigot off? Right. So that's one version of the story that I thought, okay, and maybe he just doesn't know how production stuff works. And so he said, yeah, let's tariff movies. And everybody goes,
sir, I don't know if that's
I'm not sure you realize how production works. So that's one version. The other is he said, can I get LA on my side? What would it look like to try and to pull California my direction?
There you go.
And so he said, oh, well, movies are leaving LA. Maybe if we do this, then I can pull LA my direction. Those are the only 2 things that made any sense to me in terms of why he would go this direction. Because I don't think it's about just a money play. It's got to be something else.
Yeah.
I
think that's a good observation.
I don't think either of those work in reality, but I can see why you would try to say, hey, can I win LA to my side? Can I win Hollywood to my side with trying to help, bring production back to LA?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing I would add to that is that it's super, super pro-union. So SAG and AFTRA and IATSE must be going, wow, we hate this guy, but we really love him.
But yeah, right.
He's just made great bedfellows with all the unions in town.
Yeah.
Because they're really the ones, that are going to, love this idea the most. But I still think, I like where you're going with that. I really like that theory. That's a good theory. I think it's valid. Marcus, go ahead. Yeah,
but there's actually no handles for tariffing anything. That's So I'd go. It's maybe it's going to be a nice gesture for them. But what are you going to tariff?
No, I know it's like tariffing air. I think. But so much of what he does is. It isn't what meets the eye. Yeah, there's more going on. But before I give you my hot take on this, I'm very curious. What's your name again? I am King Ginger.
Yeah,
I am King Ginger. Marcus,
you wanted my hot take?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just going to create an increase in bootlegs. I think that that's what's gonna happen. If I have to pay $20 for a DVD, of Sailor Moon, right? And then the tariff means I have to pay $40 for that same DVD. It's really going to incentivize bootlegging, which isn't de-incentivized at all, really, right now. So
you're the only guy I know west of the Mississippi who's even buying a DVD. So I want to hear more about this.
That's what I'm saying. So, but even if let's say any foreign film that is streamed has to pay some sort of pay-per-view tariff. Like I'm trying to imagine what this would look like. So you have a pay-per-view tariff or something along those lines. That's going to increase subscription prices across the board already. And to me, I think we already have a good system. Whereas if you make a movie in a certain state, you get a tax incentive based on that state, and that to me seems like the best incentive is just to get rid of taxes and regulations when it comes to filmmaking, especially in California. I think that's something they're going to have to figure out. I know there was just a bill that was being passed and stuff like that to try to ease some of the burden on it, but I think that's going to be a thing, and then it's going to. I mean, just union prices are going to become more bloated, and that's really going to push a market for indie film that's outside of unions, and the more free market sort of homemade films is going to really boom as a result of that. So, which might be what he wants.
It might be. The problem is the unions are already bloated like a 1980s Dune villain, floating above the throne. Here's my hot take. I don't usually do hot takes, but what happened when they made alcohol illegal was you got the mafia, you got the Dixie Mafia, you got the it's Chicago Mafia, you got all the Vegas Mafia, all those mafias. So my hot take is that maybe this will produce an anime mafia and it will all be worth it.
Wow.
So you get
all roads come back to anime for you guys.
An economist told me, I think this applies to the word he used was piracy, but I think you could put bootlegging, whether it's alcohol or movies or Air Jordans, whatever. The economist's phrase was, piracy is a distribution problem, right? And so people are like, wait a minute, I don't really want to pay $20 for a whole CD, and I don't want to have to get up, go to the store to go buy the CD, when I can just download it a lot quicker. Actually, it wasn't a lot quicker. But
it wasn't at the time. No.
It wasn't like I
ever pirated anything, but if I had, and it was Talk Like a Pirate Day, then I would say it took a lot more time to download pirated music than it did to go get it at Hastings.
That's correct. And so when alcohol was being bootlegged, it was a distribution problem. You couldn't just go to the store and get it, and movies and TV shows were too expensive. Then streaming came about, and then you had all the networks, and I think that greatly reduced piracy, because it was actually easier just to get a Netflix account than it was to go and search on websites and then find that the thing you just downloaded was fake, or there's viruses in it or whatever. And so Netflix solved the distribution problem, and I think they are actually the ones who stopped the piracy thing, just as Spotify did with music, and iTunes did as well. Even though the iPod obviously benefited from piracy, but that's.
But you had to jailbreak it, right? Not that I know about this, but that was the.
No. I don't even know how you know that term, jailbreak, Jason. I'm disappointed.
I went to high school. I was majoring in network security, and
that's always my opener when I go out. Look,
I went to school at a time where the students knew more than the teachers about the computers. That'll probably never happen again. But it was that one moment in history where the students were like bored in class because they've already done this stuff at home and knew way more. But yeah, so I think yeah, all that to say is like these tariffs or in anything that's going to make filmmaking unreasonably more expensive is going to lead people back to those sort of websites. And there's always going to be a market for that. And so this is why I say like when you look around and you go, man, like this stuff is being pirated or that sort of stuff. You have to take a step back and go, how can we make it so it's inconvenient to do so? Like, because that's where when people spend their dollar. That's how you know that something is valuable. And so when you pay for Netflix and you're not downloading torrents of movies, the value of Netflix is in the ease and the recommendation engine and all sorts of other stuff that make it actually better than anything even a bootleg streaming website can do. So
I think we're completely, and I think this is by design, we're completely all missing the point.
It's
This is
it's not the first time. It's not the first time I've been told that today.
No, and I mean this like seriously. Like this is why I called it the stupid tariff story, because NBC and all the other media outlets are distracting us from the real issue. The real issue, and this is, I'm being very serious about this. The real issue, if you talk to anyone in Hollywood, it has become unsustainable to make productions in California, especially. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But with all the rules and the regulations on sets, it has made it impossible to be profitable, impossible to get a production done. There are so many new rules, and especially out of this last strike, if you saw some of the concessions that were made, it's basically suffocated the industry. And I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'm not going to make any more commentary on this. I'm going to go and default to our wonderful listeners who wrote in, and they're not happy. And, you know, a lot of people who listen to this show are actually in the world of production. That's why all these envelopes are colored, because they're so creative. But let's hear what some of the people who are, I call them their boots on the ground.
Mailbag.
This is mailbag, and we'll have a theme for this segment next week. Okay, you guys ready for this?
yeah.
So I pulled some that were very specific to this because I was like, okay, these people have something to say, and I think this might provide some insight. So this is from Dave. It's a great name. In Studio City. Hey guys, I've been swinging a hammer on sets for 22 years. Used to be we could bang out 3 walls and a staircase before lunch. Now, you can't even plug in a drill without a sustainability coordinator asking if it's energy efficient. Last week I had to wait 45 minutes because someone scheduled a green moment to reflect on our carbon footprint. I came here to build sets, not save the rainforest. If this keeps up, I might have to go back to making decks in the valley. At least wood doesn't need a permit to be wood. At least not yet. Frustrated, but mildly compostable. So I'll hold my comment. Yeah?
He didn't sign it because he doesn't want someone to catch him.
Well, yeah, this was actually a printout of an email, so you're right, he didn't sign that one. Okay, we're getting somewhere, though. I got 2 more, and I want, after I read these, I want you to put the pieces together and rethink this whole tariff thing and about the real reason why productions are leaving this country. Okay, you ready for this one? This is from Lila in North Hollywood. We've all lived there at some point in our lives, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Studio City, North Hollywood. We've all done it. We had to do
I mean, I was homeless, but yes.
Exactly.
So I fit right in.
Lore dudes. You could tell it's from a girl named Lila. I've been doing makeup on set since we were still using Pancake and Aquanet. Now I need 3 different waivers just to apply lip gloss. We had a scene the other day where the lead kisses someone, basic PG stuff, and suddenly I'm waiting for the intimacy coordinator to clear the moment. Then the legal team steps in to confirm everyone's signed off on being looked at. By the time we shot the kiss, the lipstick melted. It's makeup, not moral philosophy. Bring back the brush. I can't tell you how many Lilas I've met in my life that have had this experience on set. So we got one more. And again, you piece this all together. For everyone patiently listening to these letters, I appreciate your participation and your patience. This is from Kenny. He's in Burbank, another great city, by the way. If you can't live in Hollywood or Beverly Hills, I'd say Burbank. To whom it may concern, which is probably 9 people and a paralegal. I held a boom mic above my head for 11 hours last Tuesday and got scolded for creating shadow-based emotional discomfort. Then they shut us down for working 2 minutes past our legal window. Used to be you'd push through, get the shot, and life was good. Now it's stop and start between coordinators, consent consultants, and recycling compliance checks, which that's true, actually. I didn't sign up for this. I just wanted to capture clean audio, not navigate the Geneva Convention of Filmmaking, holding out and up. Kenny. So I don't know if you saw a common thread or theme in those letters, gentlemen, but they've just made it unmanageable to make films in Hollywood. And what say you?
Kenny should be a writer, not holding a boom mic. That's what first.
Well, they say that the sound guy is a gateway drug to being a writer. That there's a lot of boom guys. Yeah.
I do think that the union rules are a big part of the reason that things have been moving away anyway, moving to other countries, because it really is an unmanageable environment to try to be creative in.
Well, too, no joke. So I have a good friend that produces some of the biggest docuseries for Amazon right now. Will remain nameless. But the new rules, you have to end at the time that's so if it's a 12-hour day, it has to end right on the minute. And so in the old days, you'd be like, oh, we got a setback on the set. One of the generators went out, whatever, and we're going to go 20 minutes over. You can't do that anymore. And now Amazon has a hotline. And so anyone can call the hotline at any time, and they've got a live operator, and you could do a complaint. It's like a 911. And I'm telling you, within minutes, lawyers show up at the set. And now there's a safe zone for the person, and they issue their complaint, and they have to stop the production and put it on hold. The other thing with Amazon, and not just Amazon, there's a few others, but Amazon has a sustainable coordinator, and you now have to pay for that. So you've got this whole crew, right? And then you got craft services, you got transportation. Say you got a transportation van for 12, but now you have a sustainability coordinator. Oh, now we got to get 2 vans because we got an extra person in, right? And so this is like we laugh about this, but this is actually creating crazy budget increases. And so you've got this kind of stuff, and it sounds like I'm joking, but all this stuff is really happening in Hollywood. And the intimacy coordinators is another one. It's like now you get this extra person on set, and then there's that whole issue. DEI coordinator. These are all real things. And you've got to pay those people. And then you just think about, you X that with craft services and transportation and all that. So we could put tariffs on things all day long. We have to change that stuff. That's the root of the problem. And there's no way I would ever do a production in California again with all this stuff. So.
That's why productions. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it reminds me of the episode of Project Greenlight where they were making a movie about a white frat party it was just a frat party, but it was at Ivy League school. So all the main cast was white. And then the only black person in the whole movie was a butler. And the diversity coordinator came on set and said that the only black guy in the movie can't be a butler. So what did they do? They fired the black guy and paid a white person the butler, and the black guy was without a job. It's just like, what is going on there? But no, you have to pay for all those. Yeah.
Well, hey, that's like the Snow White thing where they said no. What is it? Vertically challenged people.
They refuse to use actual dwarfs as
dwarfs. And so people
with the guy from Game of Thrones, the dwarf that guy. He's like made it his personal life's mission to make sure that he's the only dwarf ever hired for diversity and inclusion. Of course, for because of DEI, but he specifically will go on a massive media press. He's like the dwarf Al Sharpton.
Yes.
So yeah, that's exactly what he is. He's a dwarf Al Sharpton.
That
He
sounds
goes on-
that sounds like a
goes-
really
goes
bad
on
nightmare.
complete tirades whenever a dwarf is used in a way that he hasn't approved of on in a movie or whatever. And meanwhile, and the same is true with like Wonka and stuff. They couldn't use actual.
But the irony is, in the effort to protect this protected class, they just eliminated their jobs.
Yeah, they protected them from being able to get jobs.
Yeah, they protected them. So all those guys that would have been guys and gals that would have had a job on that movie were no longer they didn't even have a job anymore. And so it's like, that's the bitter irony of the whole thing, is like, okay, you're trying to protect all these people, and it's like the story about the butler. It's like, you think that person would have rather not have been offended or actually gotten his, $1,700, in 2-day rates and his residual check?
Yes, it's
Peter Dinklage, I think.
Dinklage.
Oh,
yeah. So
it's a little bit of a Dinkler.
He's not a happy guy to begin with, though. That guy is.
No, he's an angry elf.
I have a story about him.
Is that the same guy? That's not the same guy, is it?
Yeah.
It is the same guy. Yeah, from Elf. Yeah. So that's him in real life.
I'm gonna tell you a Peter Dinklage story, but I don't want to suck the oxygen out of the room. But next week, remind me.
All right.
I got a good one.
All right.
I got a good one.
But
it's not offensive. It's not offensive. I
was
swear,
just
Peter.
gonna say, like, anytime you artificially inflate prices, or you make requirements more difficult, let's say, to be employed, you eliminate lower educated, lower skilled workers. So it's the same thing that happens with like minimum wage, right? So you increase minimum wage, and suddenly you have these disabled people who really can't be justified to be hired at that increased minimum wage because it's not a charity, it's a business. And they might not be able to do the same amount of stuff that an able-bodied full-time person can do. And so you actually eliminate people from getting jobs when you increase.
That happened in California. I think within 2 months of initiating the fast food price increase, rate increase, we lost 11,000 employees. We lost 11,000 jobs. And the other thing, so this is more of a political discussion, but there's a funny little story. There was one company that was exempt. It was Panera Bread, and it turned out the Panera Bread CEO was best friends with Gavin Newsom. And when they wrote the law, they said, this applies to all fast food and quick serve restaurants except those who bake bread. And so Subway and Panera Bread were the two that got exempt. So if you don't believe me, go look that up. But
dude, if I was McDonald's,
I'd start baking bread.
I would have McBreadsticks.
I would
like there would be something only in California.
By the way, you're kind of making me hungry right now.
Real
that sounds
quick.
really good.
I know, McBreadsticks.
Breadsticks. So many great ideas come out of this podcast.
I know.
It's amazing. If we could make the money off the things we patent on this podcast, we'd be zillionaires. Oh my gosh.
But speaking of that, guys, do you guys hear that music?
Oh, I think I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. It's time for Jason's Trivia Lesson.
All right.
It's on. All right. So here we go. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows
that HBO launched as a premium pay cable channel in 1975 with licensed movies and sports, eventually producing their own unscripted sports movies and series. Their first movie, The Terry Fox Story, was premiered in 1983, and within a year, the pipeline they built with that movie was producing 2 movies a month. But in order to build a scripted series pipeline, they partnered on their first show with an established studio. And their first scripted TV show was an enormous international success, eventually spawning a merchandise empire, a cartoon version, a Christmas special, a soundtrack that went gold, a digitally animated spin-off, a live-action spin-off, and recently an Apple TV reboot. What was that show? The first HBO-produced series, scripted series.
Wow, that's a good one. I got nothing.
I got nothing either. And
I'm sure someone in our
Apple TV did a spin-off or did a reboot of it in 2022. So 2022, they did a reboot.
Man, well, let's just let's marinate on that one for a minute. I'm sure someone in the chat's going to come up.
That's a hard one.
That's a hard one.
I don't even have a close answer.
By the way, Jason,
you're going to kick yourself, Marcus, when you hear what it is. But
Jason has stumped us 100% of the time. Even the audience, the listeners, no one's ever guessed any of your trivia.
Laura got really close.
She did. She got really close.
And Tim, he came in 2 seconds too late on one, but he said it was because it took him so long to get across the room and type in the answer, but he knew the answer. So Tim,
why was Tim crawling?
I think your answer's wrong. I'm not going to say my guess because I'm pretty certain I'm right. But there's been no reboots of it, and it wasn't a success.
Okay.
Man, I'm still hung up on this McBreadsticks idea.
Yeah, me too, man.
I mean, I'm just thinking if I were McDonald's, I would just get one toaster oven and just make one breadstick, and that
every
would
morning.
Qualify.
Yeah, and sell it for $100.
You would literally only have to make one. Just go, yeah, we got one breadstick. We sold it. We're sold out, and then you just have to pay $13 out of $20.
Nobody buys cookies at McDonald's. Have you guys ever bought a cookie at McDonald's?
No.
See,
when I had little kids,
they're always there. They're always there, just chilling in the clear acrylic tray.
But it's a metaphysical question: are cookies bread? That's
gosh, that's a good.
I don't think they would qualify because they would have to have yeast in them.
That's a good point.
But they could add yeast. And then they wouldn't have to get new ovens. They wouldn't have to do new infrastructure.
Is there a legal definition of bread? That's the question that
there's a legal definition.
We need a lawyer.
It definitely is.
There's only one thing in the United States that there's not a legal definition of, and it's a woman. That's it. Everything else has got a legal definition.
It's 100%. There's a legal.
I don't know. I'm not a baker. I can't answer that question. You're gonna have to ask a baker. Hey, I got a question for you. Have you guys seen that Jesus Raps video?
Oh, I have seen it.
Have you? Do you want to play it for our audience, but don't play it past 34 seconds?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Subtle reminder.
Just a
34 seconds.
I think the definition of subtle, you might not know what that word means.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I don't know the definition of subtle. I'm not an English major.
Depends on what is.
All right. So the question is this a sketch?
Is the B silent in the word subtle?
Youth outreach program.
All these little graphic machines you'd have back in the 80s and 90s. They were fun.
Well, I wrote this song for the Christian youth. I want to teach kids the Christian truth. If you want to reach those kids on the street, then you got to do a rap to a hip-hop beat. So I gave my sermon an urban kick. My rhymes are fly, my beats are sick.
Oh, it's so heartbreaking to have to cut that early, but...
Is it?
There you go.
Has anybody ever seen confirmation if that is real or not?
That's why this segment's called SNL or IRL.
I don't know if it is or not. I
It
want it to be.
reminds me of a
What do
Tim
you
and Eric
think Peter
sketch.
Dinkler would say? I don't know. I'm a vertically challenged dude, and I have no idea.
I want it to be real so bad, but I'm not. I don't want to be wrong and say it's real when I'm not sure.
It's
We
hard
need
to
somebody
say, but yeah, I like how he's wearing that like ABC Wide World of Sports jacket.
Yeah.
Without the patch.
Yeah,
It feels like a Tim and Eric sketch to me.
it does, but
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone confirm if it is or not. And if it is Tim and Eric, it's like the greatest troll of all time.
Yeah.
Because they never claimed it.
Yeah. Speaking of the greatest troll of all time, have you guys been watching Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal?
No, I just put it on my list though.
That guy is the modern day Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know if you guys seen Nathan For You, which is tremendous, where he goes into businesses and tries to make them more prosperous and be better business by giving them ideas to be viral. And but The Rehearsal is so. Have you seen the first season? Has anybody seen the first? You seen the first season?
I've seen the preview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, I don't even know how to explain it. But it's basically he just creates his own artificial world and just lives in that world. So everyone around him is an actor, and everyone knows they're an actor, and he tries to take it seriously so that he learns a lesson. But it's like I think the best way somebody described it was like Nathan For You, the business was the subject of the joke. They were the mark. And then in The Rehearsal, the audience watching is the mark because you don't understand it. But it's so well done. Like the storytelling is really great, especially that first season. The first scene in season 2 of first episode is amazing. But the guy's comedic ability is insanely good. And you have to be very smart to be able to like, you have to really trust him to know that he's leading you somewhere because I'm only 2 episodes into the second season and I have no idea where the point is, but I also don't think there is one, and I think that's the joke on the audience. Like the audience is it's very Norm Macdonald in that way,
Yes.
where it's like it doesn't matter if you get it or not, you know. It's anyway. That sketch reminds me of that because that's exactly the sort of stuff that he would do, where everybody around knows it's a sketch, except the person that's the subject of it, and so. Yeah. Anyway, very very Nathan Felder like comedy too. So
I was trying to. I don't want you guys to think I was being rude, but I was trying to get my buddy to call in and tell the Peter Dinkler story live. But he's at his kid's talent show, so it's not going to work out.
oh
Would have
well,
been so good.
we got to have him do it.
Yeah, now we got to have him. We'll have him. Yeah.
Okay.
I just was really wanted to hear it right now. What else did we had all these great things to who was my favorite part of the day was today? What do you think? See if you guys can guess.
It's probably the same thing that was the favorite part of my day.
Okay, what was that? Let's see.
Normally I don't smile much, but today I can't stop smiling.
You're always smiling. What are you talking about? I've never seen you not smile.
I have resting smile face.
You have resting smile face, like I do when you turn me upside down.
Yeah.
That's why I like hang from bars all the time.
My wife has been writing a bit on what it's like being married to Santa. It's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
So why are you smiling even more so today?
Why are you smiling?
I'm smiling even more so because I got to meet Mike V, who is one of my youth sports heroes with the Bones Brigade, a pro skateboarder. I grew up with WWF wrestlers and skateboarders being my sports heroes, and I got to meet one of them today, and it was just an amazing experience. He's doing a show called Songs and Stories, which is just phenomenal, where he's reflecting on a life as a pro athlete and as a musician and an artist and a storyteller. And he's a great storyteller. He's got great stories, and we got to meet him today. I mean, Sean, you already knew it. I got to meet him today.
It was pretty
In
cool.
the middle of it, I can't believe I'm talking to Mike V.
That's cool. He's a rad dude.
Yeah, it's a cool job, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I really that's one of my favorite parts about lore is just all the people we get to meet and talk to and just encourage and say, dude, you're making great stuff. That's really one of my favorite parts about this gig. Other than paying artists is really great too. So
That's
great.
Fun. Yeah, I'm still hungry for a McBreadstick.
All you can eat McBreadsticks.
You know what? It would just be shaped.
Olive Garden. Like if McDonald's ever thought Olive Garden was getting a little close, all they got to do is do McBreadsticks.
No, I can imagine it would just be the shape of the art. It'd just be the M.
Yeah.
And it'd be super good. And it'd be about this big and come in a little like paper little thing. And you just, and you got like dipping sauces for it. And it's totally better than Olive Garden. Oh man.
The McBreaded arch.
Man.
Yeah.
If I was CEO of McDonald's, I'd be like, on it now. Like, just do it.
Marcus, our band sent over the band sent over its song. So,
all right. While I'm loading up that song, do you want to give the answer to today's trivia lesson?
Is there an answer?
I do. Yeah, there is an answer. Yeah. So, after HBO launched, it wanted to go into original productions. It started with unscripted shows, but eventually it began scripted shows. And its first scripted TV show that they produced was an enormous international success, eventually spawning huge merchandise sales, a cartoon version, a Christmas special, a soundtrack that went gold.
I think I know what it is. Okay,
digitally animated spin-off, live action spin-off, and then Apple TV rebooted it in 2022. That show was Fraggle Rock.
Wow.
With Jim Henson.
Marcus should have gotten that one.
No,
I know.
No, because I was thinking it was Reagan 88.
You're a Muppet master. You should have totally known that.
No, I know. But I'm pretty certain Reagan 88 was the first scripted series on HBO.
Oh man, Fraggle Rock, dude.
That was the one that inspired. It was a complete failure, but all the artists looked at it and was like, "I want to go work for that network. Whoever's doing that show, I want to go work for that network." And they were able to use it to get a bunch of really talented artists. Because
was Reagan 88 scripted?
Yeah, it was a mockumentary.
Maybe because
just look it up. Which came first?
I'll have to look it up. I'll have to look it up. If Reagan 88 is listed, it might be listed under their unscripted shows. I don't know if as a mockumentary.
Wow,
it can't.
Maybe that's
Fraggle Rock, man. I can't believe you just got.
But yeah, I'll have to look it up.
That's amazing.
But Fraggle Rock came out in '83.
Oh, okay.
That was a great
it would have
song,
been before, yeah. So Fraggle Rock is '83.
I was way off. It's crazy.
Fraggle Rock was.
Fraggle Rock.
And shame on me, man.
So
he's like a Jim Henson.
I got the Jim Henson Kermit pop. But
I know Jim. Yeah, man. I just love that they went to Jim Henson and they said, "What's the show you really want to do that nobody wants to do with you?" And he was like, "Fraggle Rock. That's what I want to do." And they said, "Okay, we'll let's do it." And so they gave Jim Henson complete creative control of his Fraggle Rock, and that's why it's so brilliant.
Wow, you get an extra star and stripe for stumping Marcus on a Jim Henson.
On a
That
Jim
is
Henson,
amazing.
I thought for sure this one was
That
going to be the one.
That was really bold, by the way, for you to even do that. And I would have been like, no, I can't do this because Marcus is going to guess it.
I am completely ashamed. Actually,
Bob Deacon named his dog Sprocket after Fraggle Rock. Brilliant. I grew up on. I had the Fraggle Rock record growing up. I love Fraggle Rock.
Man, I love that you even brought that back to the memory. That was a great show. Where could you go to watch that right now? Fraggle Rock.
Well, the new one isn't as good because there's no Jim Henson behind it. So I don't know. The old one is on. I think the old one's on Disney Plus now because they bought.
Well, I'm for sure not subscribing to that, so I guess I'll have to bootleg it.
Yeah, you can bootleg it. I'm sure there's.
Well, my question is, how did Disney let a new episodes of Fraggle Rock? How did they not get that?
Apple Plus paid. So actually, you know this story. So they licensed a movie version of Fraggle Rock. The movie version rights sold multiple times, and nobody could get it off the ground. And then Apple TV came in and bought the movie rights and were able to transition it to a reboot of the TV show. That's what happened.
Who needs ChatGPT when you have basic?
The movie rights sold like 5 times. Everybody wanted it, kept trying to do it, and couldn't get it made. So
we need to just come up with an app. Let's just forget about all the future plans with Lure. I just want to create an app called Jason. You just type it in, and then Jason just calls you and goes, oh, and he tells you the answer. It's amazing.
All right, what's our band got for us?
All right, what's the name of this song?
The name of this song is Funky Labor Groove.
Is this Kristen instrumental?
Shouldn't be.
Here we go. Lyrics coming up.
Snail mail hitting my box. Ooh, yeah. Paper stack thicker than rocks. Big old union, bring the crowd. Say what? Tariff top pump, shake it out, don't pout. Funky letters through the post. Money G turns 50, raise a toast. Anime pirates on the high seas roll.
It's actually a nice song.
Bootleg dreams with a funk-filled soul. Chicka wow. The salted stories hit my brain. Old school grooves in a holy refrain. Fan-made magic, bootleg plans. Little folks losing work. Lend a hand. Come on. Shake it. Power to the people.
Oh, Dinkler's mad at that one.
Yeah, get down. Union banner spinning round and round. Whoa, postmark funk from the snail mail days. Let's shout out Monty, make a funky way. Not fake dollar deals, animate thrills, bootleg vinyl pumps these fields. From sea to sea, the little folks cry. Big job lost, don't let them
Gentlemen,
die.
I think we got a hit on our hands.
Yeah. That's a banger.
Money G turns 50.
All right, guys. Well,
Can I just, before we jump off, can we start a Spotify playlist of our songs?
what'd you say?
Can we do a Spotify playlist for all of our fans of all of our great songs from our band?
I'll look into it. I'll see if we can.
Okay, let's do it. Because I'm really liking all of this.
Yeah, I think Spotify and our band might be at odds.
Oh, really?
We'll have to look at I'm pretty sure because somebody used a member of our band to make Spotify songs and took Spotify for millions of dollars in royalties or something like that. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Okay.
They
Thanks
really
for
don't like
reminding
that
me about
band.
that. Sometimes I forget about that story.
So, well, anyway, anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to loor.tv, LOOR.tv. Subscribe, become a paid member, and then that way you can watch the Salter when it airs Friday. It's going to be tremendous. Really excited about everybody watching that, and super pumped for Cody. Are we gonna get Cody on the show to talk about?
Yep, in a couple weeks.
Okay. So we're gonna have Cody on to talk about that. But man, is it a great episode, and really look forward to hearing you guys' feedback. And tell your friends to subscribe to watch it too after you see it. Don't keep it to yourself. It's crazy. This show's amazing. So all right. Well, everybody have a great week. And we'll see you next week at the same time, same